welcome to the Toffees Victoria show. After 22 years, we did it, guys. We've got Nick, Chris, and myself, Andy. We beat them. We finally beat them at Anfield. How are we all feeling, guys?
Really, really great. Yeah, I still can't quite believe it. It feels really good. Obviously, it's a long time coming, and I thought we deserved it as well. I thought that was the most pleasing thing about it is we put in a performance, a gritty performance, albeit not creating that many chances, and defended really resolutely and nullified their obvious threat up front. So yeah, really happy. 20 years. I was 9 when Kevin Campbell got that winner at Anfield, and barely remember it. And yeah, just absolutely thrilled. Really thrilled.
It's been a good couple of days. I've heard nothing out of anyone. It's been fantastic. Our fans have been pretty good, but United fans and Chelsea fans and everything have been giving it to Liverpool fans for the last couple of days. It's been absolutely great. We've scored more points than them at Anfield this year. It's fantastic. We've scored more goals than them at Anfield this year. So it's been good. 22 years is a very long time. So good to finally get one over them. And like Nick said, we deserved it. I think the only downside of the whole thing was unfortunately no fans there to be able to celebrate. But
yeah.
The 3 points.
That Annie Road end would have been absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
I just remember the FA Cup game where Sigurdsson scored. We ended up losing the game 2-1 in typical fashion. But though I know in a league game it wouldn't be as full, but that little corner section of the Anfield Road end would have been absolutely going berserk with blue flares and stuff. And it is a bit of a shame, but yeah, I mean it's still great. And yeah, I haven't heard a peep out of anyone for a while, and to be fair, I haven't given it to anyone either because there's just no point with them. You know what they come out with. So
exactly.
I mean, do you know what? It speaks for itself, and we fully deserved it. Our fans deserved it, players deserved it, and I think yeah, good triumph over evil on that occasion. So happy days.
Absolutely brilliant. I actually like welled up a bit because this was like my first time experiencing a win at Anfield. So like I was a wreck. Like final whistle went and I'm just like, oh my god, they did it, oh my god. And like this was like almost 6:30 in the morning when it finished, and my fiance was like still in bed, and I just opened the door like, oh, they did it. Oh. She's like, oh my god, what the hell's going on? But yeah, incredible.
I'll one-up you on that. I got a noise complaint from my body corporate because after the first goal went in, I jumped up off the couch. This is 4:33 or 4:35 in the morning. I jumped off my couch screaming, get in. And yeah, yesterday I got a letter in my mailbox, noise complaint. Please keep it down between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. So well and truly worth it.
Well, it was worth it. Yeah, definitely.
100%. And yeah, I hope you find out which neighbour it was that noise complaint.
Yeah, probably a red.
Yeah, probably a cop. In fact, it probably was a cop. I mean, that's the sort of yeah, happy days. Should we get into the game?
Yeah, let's get into it. Chris, start us off. Like, did you expect anything like that from that first half? Well, actually, no, the team sheet. What do you think of the team sheet?
Well, obviously, judging by the last couple of weeks, Carlos made changes that he thinks are right for every single game. He has chopped and changed a little bit, changed up the back four, changed up a bit in midfield, and obviously with no DCL, he's changed it a bit up top. Thought Allen would have played, would have started. He said he was fit, so it was a bit odd. The same as DCL, I thought he would probably have started him, given him 60 minutes, but maybe he just wasn't up to it. So I was a little bit surprised at the team sheet, but like Carlos done in every single game this year, especially against the bigger clubs, the better teams, he's put out a team that he thinks is going to win that game. He's given them a clear game plan, and the team itself have gone out and we executed it pretty well to a T against them lot. But you know, it was just phenomenal. You know, the team sheet probably wasn't keeping us, you know, getting us excited, but you know, we did everything we needed to do. Nick, what do you think of the team?
Yeah, I thought I think the three at the back really works for us, with Holgate, Keane, and Godfrey there, with Dina and Coleman more advanced when we're attacking, and sort of dropping back when we're defending, when we're defending, almost playing a sort of a back five. It seems to be quite interchangeable, and it works really well, and allows a more centralised midfield with Decore, Davis, and Gomez on that occasion, although he didn't have the best of games, but to play more centrally, and obviously protect the defence, and bring the ball forward when necessary, with Rodriguez playing just behind Richarlison. I think with Rodriguez advanced behind Richarlison, it gave us a good way of attacking their centre backs. I mean, we know that they were short at centre back. I mean, from what I've seen, that is it Kabak?
Yeah, something like that.
But I think they were playing Henderson as a makeshift centre back as well. So I guess maybe just his thinking was DCL has been out for a little bit, and you know, it was Richarlison's quite quick, and well, he's actually not the quickest, but Richarlison's quite penetrative, and Rodriguez is obviously a really good with the ball at his feet, and you know, we could maybe get behind them without having to risk DCL from the start. But yeah, I thought I probably wasn't as excited when I saw the team sheet. I thought, as I say, Alan would have started, and I was hoping Calvert-Lewin would start, although I did suspect that he might be on the bench. But yeah, clearly it's all the fears were laid to rest, because it worked a treat. Andy, what about you?
Yeah, I was pretty much thinking the same, that I was a little bit concerned with the starting lineup, and especially with the midfield. But yeah, no, I think once the seeing how Liverpool was getting lined up, I just thought, okay, you know, he's trying something different. But yeah, playing three at the back and having Coleman start, I think was probably a good choice. He's got that experience. He knows what it's all about, these games. And yeah, no, I just felt like, you know, with all the past two games we've played, this was probably the main game we really needed to get points. And I think it really showed with that, or even just with the performance. So yeah, the team was the right team to start with.
Yeah, and I'm really, really happy for Tom Davis especially. I know we're going to talk about man of the match and things like that, and I don't think he was man of the match, but I think he had a really, really great game. And I think over the last couple of games, he's been our standout player and is becoming almost undroppable. And I think, you know, for him being a local lad and putting in a performance like Liverpool, and being against Liverpool, and being on the winning side for the first time in 22 years would have done him the world of good, especially on the back of some really good performances. So yeah, special shout out.
Yeah. So yeah, with that, let's talk about this first half. And what a way to start! 3 minutes in, a great touch from Rodriguez on the ground, and then a through ball pass to Richie, and he scores. Like, absolutely incredible. And as we heard Chris, like, it's worth the noise complaint. Like, that's incredible.
Everything about it was just perfect. You know, the touch to get the ball down like that, and then to hit it the way he did, perfectly weighted to Richarlison, who knocked it and then hit it straight into that corner. Everything about it was just perfect. You know, in the build-up, Richarlison was offside for a lot of the build-up, where the ball was being head around, you know, sort of pinballed around. He just got back onside as James hit the ball, and it just changed his body position to go forward to receive it. So everything just aligned perfectly from that. But it literally all came from a world-class touch from James, because to be honest, if that was anybody else, I don't think they bring the ball down as soft as he did and be able to play that pass in the manner that he did.
Mm. And like then, Henderson and the other guy just ball watching. Like no one was even watching him, and Richie just ended up on the other side of where I think just after where Henderson was, he kind of got into that offside position, went onside, and then that's when Rodriguez's ball went through. Nick, what about your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean the goal was fantastic, and I'd just like to point out the positivity from minute one. I mean, I think we won a corner inside the first 20 seconds, which, well, I know it's only a corner, and to be fair, I think it was that guy, the centre back again, who headed out. I thought we could have maybe just let it run out, but from minute one we showed attacking intent, and we got at them. We had a corner, and Godfrey could have scored from the corner if he reacted a little bit quicker inside the first minute, and I think that probably set the tone for the game as well. Just that, I think that was really important. And then a couple of minutes later, I think if you're Liverpool, yes, you can be disappointed conceding the goal so early, but I think you can't legislate for that quality by James. I think it was such a brilliant takedown, and for all his shortcomings when it comes to work rate occasionally, he has got that extra little bit of quality that can make us tick, and can, he'd get into any side in the Premier League, in my opinion, with maybe the exception of Man City. Because he does stuff like that and he creates goals. And yes, okay, he can go missing occasionally and things like that. But when he can do that, then he's worth having in there. And it was a great finish by Richarlison, because he still had a fair amount to do. I mean, the movement was great, of course, but when he was through on goal to finish that right in the corner, it has to be quite precise, otherwise the keeper gets on it or it goes wide. So an all-round brilliant goal. And I think just the first sort of 5 minutes really showed our intent and set the tone for the rest of the match.
Definitely, it definitely did. And yeah, goal goes in, wild celebrations. And then we sort of just like hand them the ball really with possession a little bit. And we just kind of just jumped them on counters. We had another great chance from Digne, crossing the ball in, and just Coleman just heads it straight to the keeper, but what a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Coleman said that in his post-match that he probably should have scored it, and and in my opinion, it was probably the best chance of the game.
Yeah,
maybe Salah's one-on-one in the second half, but it was probably the best chance of the game that wasn't a goal, which I think sort of shows how much we limited them to long shots. I mean. Their best chance of the first half was Henderson's volley, and obviously, if you can call a volley from outside the area a chance, it's just a great hit and a wonderful save by Pickford. And I think
fantastic.
Against Liverpool away, you're going to need your keeper to make those kind of saves, and he definitely came up. But I thought for that first half, especially, we really limited them and we let them have the ball, and we hit them on the break when we could. And I wouldn't say we hung on and defended the lead for 45 minutes, but we were quite comfortable letting them have the ball, and then using our guys up front to run at them.
Chris, do you think the Henderson going off and then being replaced by, I think, Phillips, do you think that sort of just changed things again, how the game went?
I do a little bit. Henderson's obviously their captain. He's their leader. I don't particularly think he's a great centre-back. He's serviceable, and I think you could tell from very early he was very worried about Richarlison. Even though Richarlison's not quick, he's quite good on the ball, and he's always moving. He's never stagnant. He's always on the move. So, to be honest, I think Henderson was a little bit more worried about Richarlison rather than the rest of the play. But, when a captain goes off of any side, they're losing their leader. Another centre-back for them as well. They've bitched and moaned about it since. I think that's 17 centre-back pairings. Jim Beglin didn't stop talking about it for about 20 minutes.
Oh, my God,
so,
yeah.
As soon as he went off, yes, it definitely had a little bit of an effect on them. But at that moment, they were only 1-0 down, and they'd had a lot of the play without doing anything with it. So, to blame the rest of it on him going off would be wrong. Obviously, they would have preferred him on, but like I said, I honestly didn't think he was playing that well. and I could probably have seen us scoring more past them because Henderson is quite a clumsy player. You know, you see some of the things he does. He is prone to clumsiness and making mistakes. So other than his hit, which was just a quality hit from the volley that Pickford knocked out, he'd really rarely touched the ball. So yeah, not great for them. But you know, we don't get a lot of luck. You know, we're Everton.
Right.
We've been so many times. You know, we played against their last season. We played against their in the FA Cup against their kids. Their kids come out and beat us with a young kid who scores a worldie. So we have to take the luck when we get the luck. And you know, unlucky to them, but we take it and we win and we move on.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, and I know we don't want to focus too much on them because there's so much positive stuff with us that we'd like to talk about. But just if I was a Liverpool fan, God forbid, I'd probably have a look at that that constant attention on the injuries that they've got at centre back, and I think that maybe affected them in the game. I think, look, I know they've been very, very unlucky this season with those injuries in those specific areas. But you've got to get on with it. It's football. Every team has injuries, and sometimes a team is really unlucky with injuries, and they have loads of injuries in key positions, like Everton have had for several seasons, and like other teams have had. And where Liverpool have actually been quite lucky, and they've managed to keep at least the first 11 fit for the majority, if not the whole season, which is last year.
Like last season.
Like last season, where they had everybody fit pretty much 100% of the time, and also some players off the bench that could change things. Now, there's no doubt about it. They've been really unlucky this season with the injuries that they've had. But going into a Merseyside derby, you've got to put that to the back of your mind and just say, right, okay, we're playing Everton. We haven't lost against them in 22 years. You know, we've got a pretty good shot, no matter who we put out on the pitch, of winning the game. But no, they focused on who they didn't have rather than who they did have. And our attitude was completely switched around, which is probably the Carlo effect. And we took advantage of that. So if I was them, I'd be maybe thinking about, putting up and being a bit more positive and trying to have faith in the players that they do have, and maybe put it to the back of their mind, because they've been going on about it now for the best part of 6 months.
It's all I've been hearing out today is just about their injuries and all the post-analyst shows. And so
actually,
madness.
I saw a tweet today from someone who's in the know at Liverpool, and he said that before the game they discussed sitting Virgil van Dijk in the stands just behind, just to the left of their subs, and their plan was to score and to all run to Virgil van Dijk and celebrate with him in an effort to try and put us off, because they wanted to show him that they're there for him and that he should be out there playing. So it came out. It's been leaked. It's been in a few tweets in the last 2 days. So to me, that shows that. To me, if they're showing, if they're thinking about things like that, then they're clearly not thinking fully about the game. They've got a celebration in mind. They're thinking, we've got to score for Virgil. We've got to go and celebrate with him. Their mind's not on it, and it kind of showed in the game.
It makes sense because the camera panned to him so many times in the stand, and I'm like, why is he even here? Like, he's out for the season.
Well, I mean, on the flip side of that, I understand he's their captain. He's a very important player, so I understand him being there and at least maybe having a presence. But for them to even discuss that ahead of the Merseyside derby about an injured player who's not going to have any effect on the game, apart from maybe behind the scenes with his words, it's just really bizarre. But then again, with them, what do we expect? I mean, they are quite, when it comes to these sort of things,
they're quite odd. Yeah.
Anyway,
and with that, we had half time, and then the second half started. We're 1-0 up. How do you guys think we started off, at least?
go on, Chris. You go.
They come out swinging pretty quickly after half time. They went right up their end and tried to get something going. I think they might have got a little bit of a rev up at halftime from Klopp, and it showed. The first sort of 5 minutes they were pretty much all over us with the ball, but they were all over us without really creating a super great great deal. You know, we did quite well to put them off. I know there was a few half chances here and there. There was a really good chance in the half from Salah, which Pickford was phenomenal with. Um, it was just, you know, that the second half was quality. You know, even when they were on top, players like Andy Robertson did nothing. I hardly noticed in the whole game. You know, he was in Coleman's pocket. Coleman was given a job to look after him, and he you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold was pretty much the same, non-existent until he gave away a penalty. You know, he wasn't as good as he was. You know, he had his free kick wasn't that great. He didn't really whip any balls in for the whole game. He didn't really create any great chances. So, you know, yes, they came at us. The game sort of turned into a bit of end-to-end with not a lot happening for, you know, a good 10 to 15 minutes. But realistically, other than the Salah chance, I wasn't too worried that they were going to score. You know, our back three or back five, back four most of the time, back five at sometimes, they was solid for most of the game. And then Pickford was the world class Pickford that plays for England, and I think the save from him in the first half from Henderson gave his defenders confidence that, okay, if they do have a ping because we've not been able to get to it, you're there backing us up. So I think it gave them extra confidence. And I think it also gave him confidence that they were snuffing things out. You know, Godfrey was an absolute rock. And I think that it just all worked together. Keane as well. Keane was phenomenal. So, you know, I think, yes, they come at us a little bit, but realistically they created one great chance. The rest was not really too difficult for Pickford. So we were great. And then Calvert-Lewin comes on, and all of a sudden we got two up top, and it changes the game again. And that's their centre half, their new bloke. He was on a yellow card, and he's probably not that great, to be honest, for the Premier League just yet. So you get Calvert-Lewin running at you, and all of a sudden you go down, and then Trent Alexander goes down as well. And penalty every day of the week, in my opinion. Probably lucky not to get a card.
Yeah.
You know, I know they changed the rules around last man, that sort of thing, but he touched him, he pulled him down. It's a penalty every single day of the week. Their fans are going to say not, but their fans are wrong. It was a clear penalty. I know Jim Beglin, the biggest cop-eyed in the world, comes on and says, "Oh, not really a penalty for mine." After the game, they go to Michael Owen and the like, and they say every day, it's a penalty. Yeah. He's touched him, he's pulled him down. And then Sigurdsson, the much maligned Sigurdsson, who has missed penalties in the past for us. Last season, he wasn't so great. He was cool. And you could tell that it meant a lot to him. And he just looked cool, calm, and collected over it. And that was it. You know, we get that. Game over. They're not coming back from it. And we probably could have gone on from there, but we just sort of shut up shop and hoped that we didn't concede from there. So it was brilliant. And to be honest, it was probably a typical Carlo second half, you know, defend, a good Italian half, not Carlo, but a typical Italian side, you know, defend, and get what you can from the scraps. And we did it, and we did it to perfection. We stopped them from scoring, and Derby's ours, and that's another 3 points, and hopefully this weekend we jump above them.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Nick.
Yeah, not much more to add to that, to be honest. I think it was a fair, obviously it didn't feel like it at the time, but it was fairly nondescript in the sense that there wasn't that many chances. And look, Liverpool came at us a bit, and we absorbed most of their attacks. I thought their front three were poor again. I don't know what's happened to them since the turn of the season. And we were good. I thought taking off Andre Gomez and putting Sigurdsson on really shored us up.
Good idea.
Yes.
He was a red card waiting to happen, and he was probably, I wouldn't say he was disappointed, because with Andre Gomez, I think that it's going to take some time. I know it's been, you know, a fair few months since his injury, but it's going to take some time for him to be able to have runs of games. And because he's looked good when he's come on and things like that, but he wasn't good in this game. I thought he was probably our poorest player. He was on a yellow card, and it was important for him to go off to give us that assurance. And Sigurdsson can, he can be a bit of a reassuring figure occasionally, despite what a lot of people's opinion is on him. Yeah, the penalty. I thought it was a penalty all day, and I know a lot of people would say I would say that as an Everton fan, but honestly, objectively speaking, it was a penalty all day. If if Alexander-Arnold wasn't on that ground, having tried to make a tackle, then Calvert-Lewin taps it into an empty net. And I think the thing that compounds it, which most people seem to be ignoring, is the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold raises his leg to make sure that he brings Calvert-Lewin down. So I know the initial contact looks like it's accidental in the sense that it's Calvert-Lewin's leg that goes into the back of his head. But the fact that he's there in the first place and then he makes the movement, I think just compounds it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a penalty all day of the week. And I think it was really, really nice to see Sigurdsson's sort of emotion come out.
Yeah.
He's not a very emotional guy. He doesn't really sort of change his facial expressions too much. And I think that was just a release of just frustration, and it was a good moment for him, and put the game to bed. And yeah, I thought we, from an away perspective, we were worth a 2-0.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Penalty all day, even from, I think the majority out there, football fans do agree that it was definitely a penalty. Yeah, no disagreements there. But yeah, what a great finish by Sigurdsson. Yeah, like you said, Chris, calm, collective, and just slotted it in. I was a bit worried because I'm like, oh, he's only taking a few steps.
The short run up. It's the short run up that does it every time. Yeah,
you almost got a hand to it, but fantastic. And then just the celebrations and from the players, you could tell it meant a lot to them, and especially from Sigurdsson, like. It was like a weight lifted off his shoulders. And then, just that final whistle, and then just everything, seeing Big Dunk basically run over to Coleman and grab him by the ears and kiss him and hug him, and he's going around hugging all the players. Absolutely brilliant. And then that amazing footage of Carlo hugging Coleman, and Carlo's got the biggest smile on his face, and yeah, just absolutely brilliant. And I think that's when I started tearing up, because I was just so happy and overwhelmed with just like, finally, like we did it. And just so still buzzing. Like it's Tuesday here and I'm just still on a high from it all. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Do you guys have any final words on it?
I actually wrote down a few things watching it on replay, just because.
Yeah, go
obviously
ahead.
We've on this show we've been pretty tough on some players, rightfully, when they've played poor. But I think we've been pretty tough on Tom Davies at times. We've also been pretty lenient, but I think the last month and especially in this game, he proved how much he is needed in our squad. Carlo they could have sold him at the start of the year. Carlo clearly wanted him around, clearly saw a purpose for him, and I think the last month he's been our best player. The last month, and you could see after the game what it meant to him. You could see he did a little video on the Everton Instagram.
Yeah, he swore.
You could tell he was just like a young boy again.
Yeah. Seeing
his idols win, but he got to live it out. So yeah, I think that was really, really cool. I think, in my opinion, Ben Godfrey has been an unbelievable signing. And I remember back to one of our first shows where we talked about what it means to play for Everton and to go out there and, wear the shirt with pride and give everything you've got. And Ben Godfrey is Everton. He epitomizes what it means to wear the blue shirt. And that tackle in the second half where there was no way he was stopping, and he just ran through players. The emotion from him when we scored the goal, he clearly gets us. He understands exactly what it is to be Everton. And, he's at the moment, he's my favourite player. He is just hard as nails, and probably one that could be a chance for an England call-up with his mate next to him, Mick Keane, because in the last, season and a half, Michael Keane has been phenomenal, and Carlo probably takes a lot of credit for it. But is he not the best centre-back English centre-back in the Premier League at the moment, consistently week in, week out? I know John Stones is having
Definitely.
a good run, but Michael Keane for the whole year, he's scored goals. He's not really error prone anymore. He's got a few little mismatches here and there, but for the majority, he's so consistent. And then the last one, and I'll give my man of the match to, was Pickford. Most people have torn shreds off him multiple times this year. I obviously am a supporter of him over Ollison, who is horrid, but we'll leave that. But Pickford was phenomenal. He did everything that a world-class keeper and an England #1 should be doing. He commanded his area. He made the saves he needed to make. He looked safe. He looked assured. His distribution was quality. And there was no, like when they were zooming in on him, which was all the time because they couldn't stop talking about him, he looked like his head was in the game. So there was no laughing and joking or anything like that. He looked switched on and focused. So, I know he's been seen a sports psychologist, and to me, watching it, it seems to be working. I know he's only played a couple of games of late, but little things that previously he wouldn't have been like, and he's just turned a bit of a corner for me. So he was my man of the match, but you could give it to any of the back three or five. Coleman kept Robertson in his pocket, probably should have scored. Richarlison was pretty good, tracked back pretty hard. So the majority of the team was phenomenal. So pretty good all around, but just those few shout outs that I think are pretty important.
Yeah, no, well said, well said. Yeah, for me, I thought Davis was fantastic. He would be my man of the match. But yeah, Keane's very close. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I had Michael Keane down as my man of the match.
Yeah.
But probably close second, Jordan Pickford, and maybe a third, Tom Davis. But yeah, I thought they all had great games. Andre Gomez aside, I would probably say they all had decent games.
Yeah.
With Gomez being average, but Michael Keane was just absolutely immense at the back. Unbelievable. I think he's really turned the corner, as Chris says, in the last year or so. I think you're right. I think it probably is hard to find a better English centre back at the moment. You'd probably say him and John Stones are up there, and probably arguably the two that you would start with in the Euros potentially. I know there are other players. I know he's error prone at the moment, but he has a shout, and there's a few others in the mix as well. And Ben Godfrey is definitely playing his way into contention at the right moment, because he's an absolute rock. And I love his attitude. I think he's definitely becoming, one of my favourite players. He definitely gets it. I think he's exactly the kind of player Evertonians love. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He seems to get it. And look, he might not be the most technically gifted, but he'll run through a brick wall for the side and for the club. So I think he's definitely becoming a fan favourite. And look, I mean, it poses questions because I know Yerry Mina's error prone and Holgate sometimes looks a bit shaky, but we've got 4 decent centre backs there, and Carlo seems to like Yerry Mina. So who do you start?
Though Branthwaite as well is out on loan and attracting interest from bigger clubs. So realistically, we've got 5 now quality centre backs.
So you'd probably look at maybe moving one of them on, because one of them or 2 of them aren't going to be very happy. But it's a nice problem to have. We look really, really good at the back often. But if we can iron out some of the abject performances at home against the smaller sides or the not as good sides, then we'd have a really good shot at being in that top 4. But sadly, we've had a couple of poor results. But let's enjoy this. It's been an absolutely fantastic week. I can't stop sort of looking at the highlights and just feeling good about the club again. And I just feel, I know it's only a victory in the league. It's 3 points. We haven't won a trophy, but it just feels like the psychological grip that they had on us has just been lifted. And don't get me wrong, we will lose games at Anfield in the future. Of course. But we've broken the cycle of perpetual self-prophecy. And I couldn't be more happier. So
yeah, definitely. And our next game isn't until I think the 7th of March, so we've got plenty of time.
No, we've got a game on Monday, so we've got 2 games.
They brought it forward, have they?
No, so we play Southampton on on Monday or Tuesday our time, I think, and then we play West Brom on Friday our time. So we've got 2 realistic games that we should be getting 3 points in both. 2 games where we probably should be, giving ourselves that opportunity to push for European spots, especially if you have a look at the next 2 weeks of fixtures. All the teams that are around us are playing each other. West Ham's playing against City this week. Chelsea play Manchester United. Leicester and Liverpool, I believe. Leicester don't play. Liverpool play someone around us as well. So there's a real opportunity for us to go on a little bit of a run. I think our next hardest game is Chelsea in a couple of weeks before City in the Cup. So surely we can use the momentum we've taken from Anfield on. I know it wasn't at home, but it was close enough to home to be considered. So hopefully we can turn our home form around and go on a little bit of a run, because this league, it's so, other than City at the top, they're going to run away with it. Every other spot is up for grabs. Every other team is dropping points, and they're losing to teams that they shouldn't lose to, and beating teams that are around them, or drawing to teams. So it's just so wide open at the moment. And this is our best opportunity to do something in a very, very long time.
Definitely. I thought it was an international break, but I think I'm thinking too far ahead, because you're right. Yeah, Southampton on the Monday morning. We'll quickly just talk about that. Does he go with the same team because it's at home? Does he bring Mina back?
I think Alan and Calvin.
Alan, yeah.
Yeah, I think
you probably drop Gomez. I'm just trying to think of the side it could be.
Yeah, take Gomez out, put Alan in.
Yeah, and then, I'm not too sure who you would go with, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I do think those 2 will start in some form, and I don't know if he gives Richarlison a rest, or maybe even Davis a rest, because he's played out of his skin, and he played the full 120, I think, against Tottenham in the Cup as well.
That's true, yeah.
Look, we've got options back, and we're getting players back from injury, and we're getting what's close to a full squad again. So it's looking positive. And I think whoever we put out there, we should be beating Southampton at home.
Definitely.
They have their danger players as well. Like Danny Ings is always going to cause us problems, and we'll probably score because he's ex-Liverpool. So we're probably going to have to get 2 to win the game.
Yeah.
Probably going to need 3, because they've got that Minamino from Liverpool who scored for them.
Oh, he'll score, yeah.
So we know him and Ings are both going to score, so we're going to need to score 3, I reckon.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yerry Mina, I'm pretty sure Yerry Mina's out for a couple of weeks. I think Carlo's press conference, he said 3 to 4 weeks, from what I recall. So can't really see him featuring, but I would definitely be throwing Alan in. I think, like you said, Nick, Andre Gomez wasn't the greatest in the derby. He probably needs a little bit of a rest after playing quite a few games, maybe even Tom Davies, as you said, because DCL, when fit, he has to be straight back in that team as well. So could be an interesting one to see how he goes about his team selection, because once again, we've got match after match after match coming up for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting if he does rotate at all, because he hasn't rotated too much when we thought he would. So maybe he's pigeonholed a few games that he thinks that he can rotate. So it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely will be. And with that, let's wrap it up, guys. What a fantastic result. And it's just so good to be a Blue. Thanks for joining me, guys. Come on, you Blues.
Come on, you Blues.